Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Parminder Kaur. I am a community success specialist here at TaxCycle. I want to welcome you all to this billing and invoicing webinar from TaxCycle. So, what we are going to cover today, first of all, how to set up those invoicing options. So, if you're looking at invoicing for your tax cycle work, you could do it within the tax cycle program. It is now available for all the tax modules. We will also talk about how to export invoices to Xero or QuickBooks, set pricing options, copy prices from year to year, how to complete billing worksheets, print or email the invoice to clients, track billing status in workflow, and last but not the least, report on billing status in the client manager. So this is a T1 return for 2022. So I am just going to demonstrate the functionality. It will be the same for for this tax season as well. So the essence of billing and invoicing within the program is found in the billing section of the sidebar. It is used to be under correspondence. So now it is in the billing section. So that is billing worksheet and also related invoices, as you can see. So as I mentioned, we are in T1 return for 2022 for Thomas Lee. And if you want to maximize this page here, you can do that by unpinning it. I like to have the sidebar pinned, so I will keep it as it is, but you can always unpin it for your preference as you prefer. So from this billing worksheet, all the other information is derived. It is pulled into your client invoice or your joint invoice or family invoice. So let me click on that so you can see this billing worksheet here. So I will show you how to set up within invoicing and in pricing options as well. So many of the variables and fields that will appear in this billing worksheet get automatically populated from your options. So we will talk about that right here in the second as well. But another thing I want to show you here is client invoice that you can also get from your billing section. This is how you will see your client invoice. So this is principal taxpayers invoice you can see. And then after that, there is a family invoice, and you will see combined balance for the family. And you will see below there is a individual tax return invoice as well. And then we have this joint invoice, and joint invoice is only between principal taxpayer and the spouse. Same thing in this particular example, as you can see, there is a Thomas' tax return and there is a Kim's tax return. Now let's talk about the options here. So for that, you can go into the at the left top and go and click on the file, and then you can get into the options. Or if you have a little wrench at the top in the quick access bar, toolbar, you can have that as well. I personally like to have options in my quick access toolbar, so I would go ahead and click on it here. And now from here, we can click on this blue link to start making changes if we want. And under the return preparation, you can get into the invoicing. So from here, you can see there is an invoice number at 56, and you can set your invoicing sequence, and I can put basically maybe 001 if I want to. And I can assign any specific number on that. And if you're sharing invoicing in your network environment with the other colleagues or employees, and you want to make sure that the right sequence of invoice numbers are generated in a group or office, you want to make sure that invoice is saved under here, files and folders, and then common folders. And in my case, that invoice number is saved on my C drive, my local drive, but you want to make sure that invoice number in this path is set on the network drive. That way, it will automatically populate the next invoice sequence for the next person who generates an invoice. Now let's go back to the invoicing options here. So then you have a registration detail. There you have a GST or QST, and you can type in the GST as well. I just want to put the number 12345 6, and then you have a province sales tax. This is where you can choose do not charge if you don't want to charge sales tax, or you can choose the province if you want. Maybe you want to choose Alberta. This is where you are residing, or if you're in a border province, or if you have a taxpayer from the multi-jurisdiction, you can also choose based on taxpayer residence. And this way, the invoicing then will automatically pick up based on what taxpayer's residency would be. And the other option we have is specify rates. Specify rates, if there is any specific changes to GST rates or harmonized sales tax rates or PST rates, you can make them here. Otherwise, the TaxCycle will update those tax rates for you. But if you want to be just one step ahead, you could always make those changes right in here. This is where you can do all those specifications as well. The key thing to note here is that TaxCycle has a seamless integration between with the Xero. You can choose Xero from this drop-down menu here, and you can see there is an option for QuickBooks as well, and we will talk about that in a second as well. So you can choose Xero if you want to export your invoices to Xero for the work you have done in TaxCycle, and then click on Connect. And as soon as you do that, it will take you to the Xero website, and this is where you can put your credentials in, and then it will take you to the organizations. This is where you can select your organizations if you want, and then once we have those organizations selected, as you can see, I have those 2 organizations already selected, and then I can simply continue with those 2 organizations that I want to set up a connection with. So this is something you will see, that connection successful, confirmation that TaxCycle is successfully connected to Xero. So now we can go back to TaxCycle here. And I want to also show you that if you want to integrate or export your invoices to QuickBooks, you can do that as well. So you can simply choose QuickBooks, and then you will have an option of choosing further product, whether desktop or online. So now, and then once you have chosen, you can click on Connect. It will take you to their website, and you can put your credentials, and that way you will be connected, and it will be easily export your invoices to there. So let's go back and choose Xero here, and then we will hit Apply. We will type in 001 here, and then hit Apply here. Okay. So now I'm going to kind of show you billing worksheet right here. So whenever you go back into the billing worksheet, there is a field on the worksheet right here at the top. Okay, I just want to see that. Let me go back to the options. I want to see that if we have that option again. So we want to have a 0. We are connected. We should see that. This can happen when you are using a production account, but let's try to change that. And what I want to show you is that there is a link that gets generated, which helps you export your invoices directly. So this is how it will show you, and it should happen for the Xero as well, just because it might be taking those invoices directly. So let's do that. So if you have not connected, if you apply and OK, for some reason it's not working for me. And I have been trying before, it was working perfectly fine. All right, so what I wanted to mention here is basically that for both platforms, it works the same way, and you can use that link. So let's see if I choose here because of the demonstration purposes. So this is how that link will show. So you can export invoices for the principal taxpayer, and you can export the invoice for joint. Uh, you can export in joint invoice. You can export family invoice. So if you will simply click on that, you will be able to export those invoices, whether it's a Xero or a QuickBooks, right here from this hyperlink. So now I want to show you pricing, how you can set up pricing. So let's go back to the options here, and we will click on start making changes. So we will like to go into the T1 module and click on price here. All the prices you can set up here by year if you want, and you'll notice that if you right click on the year in 2023, the interesting function is it has that you can apply these options to 2022 T1, or if you want to apply all other years as you like. You can do vice versa as well. For example, if you are in 2022 and my prices has not changed from one year to next, I could just right click and select apply 2022 T1 options to 2023 T1 options. Same thing if this is the year one for you with the tax cycle in 2023, you can apply your 2023 pricing options to all other years as well, just by simply right clicking. So we will stay in 2022 today because we are going to work on 2022 return, but the functionality is same for 2023 as well. So the things I want to show you here in pricing format, this is where you can set up your hourly rate. This is something is editable. You can type in. So if you want to keep it 125, that is something you can do that. And this is where you can change your administration surcharges, and there's a discount rate. Maybe you want to have a discount rate for a taxpayer over a certain age. Maybe you want to have that age 65, and you want to have a discount of 5%. So all that you can set up in here. And then you have and then you can indicate if you want to charge them, invoice them by schedule, or if you want to do an invoice by hour. This feature was brought in over the last couple of years because there have been requests from clients just to not only invoice by that respective schedule, but also invoice by the hours as well. So all your firms, so here this is the search bar where you can type in if you're looking for specific uh, whether it's a slips or whether it's a particular firm, you can type in here. It will show you all the related firms. So all the firms are here. So if you are looking for T1, for example, it will bring in all the particular firms for that. And I can set up price here for the single tax return. So if I want to make changes to this price, maybe I want to charge 110 for this one, I can simply type in and for that particular return, and it will be charging those returns, T1 returns for that year. I could have a flat rate maybe for uncoupled returns or the joint tax returns. I can make those changes here. And then maybe I have T2125, and then I can add those prices here. And if I want to make changes for that, I can do that here. Or if I have a T4 slips, maybe I have a slips and I want to charge them per slip if I want to make changes, or if I want to charge them per slip for example, for T4 per slip, then I can charge $40. Or if I want to have this 45, I can increase my price as well from here. Same thing for dependent. If I want to charge per dependent, if I want to add dependent expense per item, maybe $5, I can do that here as well. And similarly for medical, if I have if my customer has medical expense, if I want them to be charged per item or per schedule, I can have those prices right in here. So TaxCycle gives a lot of flexibility to adjust those charges. And there is a little column. If we scroll straight to the right, you see that there is a English line item description, and there is a French line item description. So this is basically, let me search for T1 because I want to show you what exactly it means. So this is basically a description. If I don't want to use the description that we have as a default, and I want to have my own description, I can use that. So if, for example, for the T1, for this federal return, if I want to use my own description, let's say T1 federal, federal return for 2022. So if this is something I want to use, that this is exactly how it would appear on the respective invoices. So this is something you can do that, and similarly for French. And another thing I want to show you here is that there is a link at the bottom here, hide Xero items. So if I click on this, you will see all the items that has a price, and it will hide all the prices with Xero. And then we have another link here, increase price by 1%. So if you see or pay attention to 145, and if you click on increase price by additional 1%, you can see the prices has changed by 1%, increased by 1%. And if I want to decrease price by 1%, you can see that it is decreased right here. So this way you can do make the changes if you want to, and we can go back, click on show all prices, and this is how you can make those changes as you want for the pricing. Another great thing about this option here is that you can print price list as well, and if you want to export that price list into Excel and have that copy for you, you can do that here as well. Now we're gonna click apply and then OK. And I want you to show you that what this billing worksheet is, and we are in Thomas Lee's return. And I want to show you that I already have created T4 slips here for him for our demo purposes. And then now what I want to show you here is in the billing worksheet is there we have a invoice number, and then we have an invoice date that will not be generated on the billing worksheet until the client invoice, or the return rather, which includes obviously your client invoice either printed or emailed. So once that this billing worksheet, once that is printed, once your client invoices are printed or emailed, it is going to automatically generate that invoice number and invoice date for you. So you will see here, I can schedule, I will show you that how it is generated in a second here. And then you can see that here you can invoice by schedule or by hour. In my options, I have set up default as I want to invoice per schedule per hour as both. But if I will make changes here, you can see that I will get a review message, and I want to go, if I go back to the default, I can simply click on it and it will restore my default settings. And if I want to make changes, again, you can go into the options and choose according to your preferences. And then if you want to show the details of details of the scheduled charges on the invoice, then you can choose it here. I don't want to see the details of the scheduled charges on the client invoice. I am okay with that, but you may want to see it, so you can choose it in the options, and then it will show it to you here as well. And then we have a description of service, a little box here. This is a kind of autofilled each and every single time. So you can create that description and you can bring it in on a billing worksheet. So if I click on this drop down arrow here, as you can see, then it will show me all the descriptions that I have typed or used in previously. So by clicking on X, I can delete it if I want. So for example, like this. And also I can create my new description as well. Maybe I just want to send thank you, and I can hit enter, and then it has created that description for me. And I can simply hit enter here. Yeah, it worked. So in this way, you can see now this description has been entered or used. So it is now in the list here. You can always come in here and you can use it again if you want. So you notice here in the fee setup, notice that I had set it up by schedule as well as by hour. So that's why the hourly fees is being applied here. There is a T1 federal return that I mentioned, and you can see that the description that we are seeing that we typed in into our options in the English line description, that is something we are seeing here on the going to see on the invoice as well. And then we have these charges per schedule. For the T1, for T4, as you can see, we had T4, we have two T4s here. That is why we have one T4 we specified as a $145 in the option. So that is why we have a $90 here for two T4s. And then my amount of for the administration expenses, we had that set up 1.5. We did not change it. We just accepted as much it was pointed. If we want to make changes, if I want to, let's say, put a dollar amount instead, I can do that, maybe $20. Or if I want to make changes to the in the percentage, I can do that as well, but it will show me an override. So maybe we don't want to do that. If we want to go back to our, if we want to remove this override, we can simply click on it and it will restore our value. So let's say we don't want to change it, and then we will get a subtotal here. And then also we have a discount. Maybe we do want to provide loyalty discount, and then it could be $40, or we can have it in percentage as well if we want to. And then we have a total before disbursement, and then disbursement we can apply maybe if there is any, perhaps that you have done it for a customer, it may be a rush courier. That's something you can type in, rush courier, and then you can apply maybe $30. So that will be applied in your total, and you can see that total before taxes. And then we have a province for the sales tax, and this is something we have selected in our options. And then we have a provincial sales tax. If you want, you can select it from here as well. If you don't want, then that is fine as well. But if you want to change it, you can go into the options, and then you can you will see those province for the sales tax here. And then we have a total. If there is any a portion that is being paid by customer, you can mention it here. Maybe customer has paid you $100, how they have paid it to you, maybe with the cash, then we can choose it accordingly. It will get minus from here. And if you have any prior year amounts, as I have it here, you will see all those prior year amounts right here. This is exactly where it would appear in here. So it would appear on this particular return. So I want to just show you something here from the sidebar. We have gone through this billing worksheet now, but one thing what was missing is invoicing number and invoicing date. So how we can generate that, let's look into it. So one thing is you can go into the print and PDF, and then there is a client copy. If you want to create a client invoice, you can simply, if you want to email it, you can simply click on this envelope icon, and then it will email client invoice to the customer. But also you can click on here to generate a PDF, and then it will ask me to save it as well. And what I want to mention here is that you can see that invoice number is generated and the date has been generated as well. So this is something we want to show you. And then another thing is that on the top, you see there is another link that has been generated, which means is billing information is logged when an invoice date is entered. So if you want to make any changes to this invoice now, you need to click on remove. You need to click on this link here, and you will be able to make changes to your billing worksheet. If you are, so let's talk about another thing, that is timer. So if you are invoicing by hour, notice at the bottom here, that is a timer that is running. So this is how TaxCycle is recording time. So if I just click on it, it stops the timer. So it stopped at 11 hours, and then we can restart it by clicking on it again. And if you want to make certain changes, just go into the options and we can go right from here really quickly, and then click on make changes. And then under the return preparation, if you click on edit, and if you scroll it straight to the bottom, you will see there is a timer options. So if you want to use this timer to display it on the status bar and update the billing worksheet, you can do that and you can check it off. And if you also, interesting thing is that if you also want to use it to automatically pause the timer when you're working in another program. So that's another great thing, that if you are maybe working on in between, you may need to search for something on Google, and you can the timer will automatically be paused and it will restart whenever you will come back to the program. So let's go ahead, and if you make any changes you would like to hit apply and OK, we will just simply click on OK here. Now let's talk about tracking billing status in workflow. So now we have brought that workflow feature. So you can look into the workflow from the file, and then under info, you will be able to see the workflow for the customer. And then there is a billing at the bottom of each taxpayer's workflow. This is where you can check off if the client invoice is sent, and you may have received the payment as well. So you want to mark that as well. And another place where you can look into the workflow is within the return is track from the sidebar, and then you want to scroll straight to the right under billing, and this is where you want to look into that if this has been completed. All right, so for that, what I will do is we will be going into the client manager. So I would like to open another TaxCycle here just to show you how client manager works. And now to access the client manager, what we are doing or what we are trying to do here is that how you would actually do a search for the information we are looking at the workflow. So if you have sent a client invoice, who are those clients, or if you have those clients in your list, and if you have payment received, how you can look for those clients in your database. So you can click on client manager from the left side here, and then you will see all your clients list that you have in your database. And what you want to do is you want to go into the quick access, and then you want to scroll it down. And I do have a good data in 2017, so I would like to show you that how it shows you the clients that you have for our particular requirements. So you may want to choose 2022 or 2023 according to your preferences, or maybe for this season it would be 2023. So for 2017, let's pick that for our demonstration only, and then T1, and you want to scroll it further and then click on workflow. So this is where you want to define conditions. So I want to just expand it a little bit so you can see it. So here, select a condition. So first condition we want to select is client invoice sent. So let's say client invoice sent, and then we want to say yes, we want to see those. And then there is another condition we want to add is payment received. We want to say set that as yes. So as you can see, as soon as we are creating those filters, we got all those client list whom we have already sent the client invoice, and also we have received the payment. But now we are in the standard column layout. But if we want to make the changes to the grid layout, we can do that from here. And let's say we want to look into the invoicing layout, because this is the information we want to see, that when the invoice is sent, this is how we can see in this column, and then invoice number, invoice status, all that you can see it here. And if you want to move these, maybe I want to see a name of the client as a first, so I can move it really quick like this. And if I want to see when it is sent, and then maybe I want to see if it is paid, how much is preference, all that, I'm okay with that, let's say. And if you want to make changes to all these columns, maybe I don't want to see some of these columns that are right in here, so I can just right click on any of these column rows and then change column layout. And then I like to go into the options right from here. And then from here, you can click on make changes. And then if you want, you can make a copy of that invoicing layout, just so you can create layouts according to your preferences. And then I can select it from here. If there is any of the column that I don't want to see, then I can just simply remove it from there. And maybe I don't want to have a reference number, I don't need that. Or maybe I don't need a file name, then I can remove that as well. And if there is anything that I want to have it in here, maybe I want to see invoice disbursements, so I can add it from the available columns. Once I have the columns that I want, I can hit apply and then OK, and then refresh it here. So you will see that all the invoices or all that list, I can see it according to my preferences, and I can check it from here, that if I have selected the invoice, that the layout, invoicing layout that I have created, if that is being selected. So this is all I wanted to cover today for for our invoice billing and invoice. So what I want to mention now, if you have any questions, so you can go into our resources page. This is where you can look into, if there is any of the question, you can type in here. Sorry, I want to stop sharing my screen so you can look into that into your slide widget. So you can look into, or you can type in any of the question here. You can type in billing and invoicing. You will see all the resources that we have available on our website. And then you can have a help topics, you can have a video tutorials related to that. And thank you, everyone. I would say you can also email us to us at support@taxcycle.com. So hopefully you have a great tax season. And any question, again, don't hesitate to call us. Thank you for your business, and have yourself a great rest of the day. Thank you.